皆さんこんにちは。俺の名前はユウスケですよ。俺の新しいビデオにようこそ。So, despite the fact that this last video in this series didn't do too well with the views and the watches and the stuff, it is a pretty interesting topic and there's a lot of lost pieces in it.
Seriously, when I say a lot, I mean a lot. I literally have a 5-page document of literally nothing but dub names. As in just the title.
With all of that said, please like, comment, and subscribe bell. じゃあ始まるぞ。
Out of all the lost dubs I have encountered in my time researching lost anime dubs, this one is the first I have covered that also has the original Japanese version lost as well. I feel this makes it especially enigmatic and fascinating. What is also fascinating is the art style. It's very unique and very unlike anything I've really seen at all in anime as a whole. The art of this series was done by Susumu Matsushita, who is an artist well known for a lot of things in Japan and has a very American comic kind of style. If you are familiar with Famitsu magazine and the mascot, the little cat guy, that is actually his art. Bid the Cupid was also among the first anime to feature computer-generated graphics, which allow the characters to accurately reflect Matsushita's distinct art. By the way, the Cupid's name is Bit. It's not an anime about literally biting a Cupid, as my dumbass assumed throughout the first half of researching this one. In case anyone needs that clarification, probably not. So, the synopsis of Bit the Cupid is pretty self-explanatory. It's about a Cupid who makes people fall in love and have all those happy love emotions and shit. You know the ones, right? And this one is lost media at its finest, my friends, as there hasn't been a single Japanese episode recovered. This is despite the show having an original air date of April of 1995 to March of 1996, well into the time that VHS recording was a thing. There's 48 13-minute episodes and they all aired on TV Tokyo, a major Japanese network. With all of these factors combined, it's somewhat baffling that the whole Japanese version is lost. As it stands currently, only episodes of the Chinese dub have been found, and the uploads are pretty low quality. Moving back to the English dub, however, this guy is also quite lost. Quite lost as in completely lost. There is solid evidence that this one was definitely a thing though. Plenty of it as a matter of fact. So, Fox Kids. I should probably bring that up now because we're going to be talking about Fox Kids quite a bit in this episode. I mean, I could even go as far as dubbing this episode a Fox Kids special. But anyways, Fox Kids is a former children's programming block and was known for airing a lot of stuff. It was founded in 1990 as Fox Children's Network and ended its run as a children's programming block in 2002. The best known programming that aired on Fox Kids has definitely got to be Power Rangers, as it dominated a lot of the programming blocks, and a lot of Saban properties actually were brought over to Fox Kids. While on that note, Saban also has lost anime dubs. Another story for another day though, let's move on. The biggest confirmation comes from the 1998 Fox Family Upfront promo. A little presentation showcasing what Fox Kids would have to offer in the coming year. It's within the showcase that a short clip teasing Bit the Cupid is shown, and we even get to hear a little of the dub.
I'm Bit and I'm supposed to spread love around.
On top of this, multiple voice actors have listed Bit the Cupid on their resumes, and it's through these resumes that we see Saban as the company responsible for this dub. Now, did this dub actually air? I have found web pages stating that it did in fact air in 1998, though was cancelled early on due to lack in popularity. This makes sense to me, as this kind of show doesn't seem like it would do well in an American audience. Now, I have searched all over the net. I have surfed that net so hard and wicked gnarly that my skin is pruned and salty, and it's just a rough time all around, man. See, I was hoping I could at least find some kind of account of this dub airing. Just one person talking about this weird Cupid cartoon Japanese thing that likely aired in the early mornings, but no. Nope, not a gosh darn thing. And with that said, I cannot confirm if it aired or not. Who knows though, someone may have a VHS with at least one airing on it. Detective Conan. This is another one of those super crazy, insanely long-running anime that are a household name in Japan. This is also another one of those cases like Albert and Sydney, if you don't know what that is, check out my first episode, where existence of this dub does definitely make sense, but it is yet to be officially confirmed to actually exist. Though, if you ask me, I definitely think it exists. There are hints here and there online that combine to form a convincing argument to its existence, though the problem with this is that a lot of the links that once proved this existence of this dub no longer lead to a valid source. So let's fast forward to the year 1999. This was towards the end of Fox Kids' life cycle, and this is actually when it's speculated that they discussed dubbing Detective Conan. The original Detective Conan manga was written by Gosho Aoyama. It began serialization in 1994 and is also still running. It has over 100 volumes. The anime adaptation has been going since 1996. It has 1,025 episodes. What is known about this lost dub is that in 2000, Fox Kids had plans to have it on their fall programming block. It was apparently going to be 26 episodes in length. Beyond this point, we're really stepping into rumor territory, as there's a lot of information about this, but none of it is truly confirmed. The first of which being a lost pilot. It was shown to Fox Kids by TMS. This pilot was apparently titled Conan's Capers and was multiple episodes combined together. The combination of multiple episodes does make sense, as it allegedly cut out all the violent scenes from the first few episodes. Sources who claim to be familiar with this dub claim many changes were made to adapt the show for a Western children's audience. And see, with this show, that's kinda hard. Especially considering the show has a lot of murder, and death, and the Yakuza. And this, of course, would lead to the source material having to be edited extensively. And I don't mean replacing death with the Shadow Realm and literal handgun levels of edits. I mean editing the Japanese content so extensively that the story is Robotech levels of botched. Nothing against Robotech. Other possible changes include name changes. Changes to names like Peter Gray, Slick Lacey, and Rebecca Lacey. Some claim that this pilot was left in quote-unquote limbo due to issues with the network's broadcast standards practice department, also in quotes. This claim was supposedly made by a network representative. Aside from that, there is no publicly known information that clarifies how far this pilot made it before Fox Kids ultimately decided to not pick it up and air it. But what if they did air it? You see, there have been later claims that the pilot actually aired at least once. This is definitely not confirmed, as everything else with this isn't, though if you ask me, I feel like this would only be believable if this pilot only aired on a local Fox network and not nationally. If you're a fan of anime, you may be familiar with Case Closed, which is the Funimation dub. This dub aired on Adult Swim in 2004, and 104 episodes were dubbed. And while this dub isn't particularly loved by the fanbase, it's probably not as heavily localized as the Fox Kids dub would have been. Miracle Girls. While also unconfirmed, there is a great deal of speculation regarding this dub online. Miracle Girls was an early 90s magical girl shoujo series. Now, there's very little information about this one online, but it is written that this series was intended to be heavily marketed to be a competitor to Sailor Moon. Which, this series doesn't really have a lot of similarities to Sailor Moon if you ask me. It's more of a romantic slice of life coming of age kind of deal with magic elements, if that makes sense. I mean, I guess it does kind of have the aesthetic, but most anime at that time had that aesthetic. And let me tell you all, this is not the first time somebody attempted to do this. There's more. Next episode for that though, that will require a longer segment. Anyways, what do we know about Miracle Girl's Fox Kids dubbing dub? Well, not much, and I'm gonna keep this segment pretty brief because we don't really know if this is real or some person making it up. This is because the only thing I can find on it is an article on a wiki. A wiki with no sources. But anyways, we have name changes. The names are Rebecca and Mecca, I believe, and that there were 51 episodes, and it apparently aired on Fox Kids in May of 1996. And see, here's where it kind of gets a little probably not territory, meaning it probably doesn't exist, because I feel like somebody would remember this. Nonetheless, when you do look up Miracle Girls and how it was dubbed and who dubbed it, there is a Spanish language dub, but there is no existence of an English dub. So this one has yet to be confirmed.
The Vision of Escaflone.
So, remember how we talked about how Detective Conan isn't exactly a child-friendly series? Well, guess what? This one isn't either. Like, I legitimately wonder why they decided this series should be adapted for children out of all the anime out there at the time. Especially the ones, made for children. As you could imagine, this is another one of those cases where the original source material was edited extensively. Though it is also worth mentioning that Bandai Entertainment did do the dub, but it wasn't edited until it was brought over to Fox Kids. The person brought on board to do this dub was Haim Saban, who is known for, Saban stuff. The edits done edited the show, of course, so much that it went from 26 episodes to only 23, and it added a lot of quote-unquote flashback sequences that kind of reminded people what was actually going on. These edits pretty much changed the story and the influence of specific characters, and even changed the music to more techno beats and stuff. This child-friendly edit of the dub was actually released on VHS in the year 2000, though only 4 volumes of the series were released before it being discontinued. Now, the good news with this one is that the majority of the series has been recovered. The only missing episodes are 16, The Edge of the World, and 22, Zone of Absolute Fortune. Both of these are actually partially lost, and pieces of them do exist online. Also, keep in mind that these are later episodes, and they did not have a VHS release. Honestly, this really looks like the kind of anime that would fit really well with an Adult Swim block of the early 2000s, with all that good stuff like Wolf's Rain, I think Gundam Seed was up in there at one point, Full Metal Alchemist, Evangelion, of course, Trigun, stuff like that has that distinct late 90s aesthetic, or early 2000s, whatever, and it's just cool looking, and it would match so well, and it confuses me so much that they chose Fox Kids for it, because this really is not the kind of story that would appeal to kids. It's more of a teen girl kind of young adult kind of deal. So the fact that this was dubbed for a children's audience really baffles me, and okay, let's move on.
Slayers.
And next is yet another example of an anime not intended for kids that Fox Kids wanted to adapt for kids anyways. It's like Fox Kids just assumed that literally all anime is for kids, bought the rights to air general anime that were popular in Japan, and didn't actually look into the plot synopsis to later either butcher the source material or sit on the rights to them. And the latter is unfortunately what happened to Slayers. Or at least the Fox Kids edit of Slayers. And let me tell you, this is a topic that kind of annoys people, as Fox Kids actually outbid Cartoon Network for the rights to air 2 anime at this time, that being Rayearth and Slayers, and then promptly sat on them and made no use of these properties whatsoever. This comes off as almost spiteful to Cartoon Network in a way, cause you know these anime would have definitely ended up on Toonami if Fox Kids didn't end up hoarding them instead. Though I can't exactly say without a doubt that Fox Kids made no attempt to localize Slayers. I also can't say what led them to abandon this project and their exact reasons. Though Slayers does kinda go to some dark places that aren't kid-friendly. There is proof around the internet that attempts to make this anime kid-friendly and airable had actually been made. To begin, this anime was already dubbed before Fox Kids got their hands on it. This dub was more faithful to the original Japanese dialogue and had some jokes and stuff that were a little mature. Because of the PG-13 subject matter of this anime, the voice cast, or at least one voice actor, was brought back to reduce some lines that had innuendos or violent intent. And while it is unknown at this time which characters have redubbed dialogue, it is confirmed that Lena's voice actor, Lisa Oritz, was brought back to dub over quote-unquote boob jokes, as she stated in a 2001 interview. She had also recalled redubbing a heavily repeated line of a spell in the series that refers to blood. This line, originally Crimson Blood That Flows, was changed to Crimson River That Flows, to make it sound less like blood, despite that still totally 100% sounding like blood. And so, despite these confirmed revisions, nothing was ever broadcasted or released of the Fox Kids edit. Later on in 2002, there was talk about this edit being aired on ABC Family, but this also never happened. The only remaining ancient relics that remain of this time, aside from that Lisa Oritz interview, are some old Anime News Network articles that reported on the Fox Kids acquisition and some clarification as well as speculation on the edit itself. These articles are 20 years old at this point. Wow, I'm getting old. The final article reporting on this Fox Kids edit of Slayers was one claiming that the production was in quote-unquote limbo, and that it would be unlikely that Slayers would air at all, considering Fox Kids was pretty much dead at this point. Rest in peace, childhood. So, while we can speculate all day about this thing, absolutely nothing of the Fox Kids audio or edits have surfaced in any caliber. And while yes, Lisa Oritz had confirmed that she recorded new lines for a quote-unquote Fox network, we have no idea if other voice actors were brought back or how early this program was ultimately scrapped. How much of this thing actually exists is really up for interpretation and completely unknown. As of right now, I myself have not been able to uncover any new details aside from those 2001, I think 2002 Anime News Network articles. This is after looking at the ancient scribes of Angel Fire fan sites and Yahoo GeoCities, all that stuff, everything. Slayers did go on to air unedited on channels like the Anime Network and the International Channel, the latter actually being where I first saw it for the first time as a kid in the early 2000s. This channel also aired Tenchi Muyo, which was my first experience with harem anime when I was like 9.
Mon Cole Knights.
The case of Mon Cole Knights is an interesting one to say the least. Say you want to watch the original Fox Kids dub of this one right now, like literally right now. Well, just Google it and it'll come up. It's technically not lost. So, why is it in this video? Well, but this dub is actually lost despite not being lost. Even though it's not lost. This is due to the masters of the dub itself being lost and unlocatable. The rights to Mon Cole Knights are officially in the hands of Discotech, the same people who were rad enough to re-release one of the lost Rayearth dubs from my last Lost Dubs episode. Discotek has been attempting to locate the masters for Mon Cole Knights and has been very transparent with their search and why they specifically need those dub masters to re-release the dub of the anime. The sub does currently have an official release though. So, to abridge what I just said to the best of my own knowledge, the anime is found. The Japanese dub is also found and available. They were never lost. The English dub is also not lost, just unable to be released professionally in the best caliber due to those masters. Hopefully that makes sense. And so, what Discotek Media is essentially doing is pulling a Doctor Who and getting the public involved in the efforts of trying to find these masters and provide an official release. And really, that's it with this segment. We're basically playing the waiting game, and hopefully Discotek Media is able to recover these masters. Hey guys, apologies for the subpar filming quality and probably audio quality. I have a cold, and I have an update, and I don't feel like doing the professional stuff, I guess. So Itaden Jump, an anime I talked about, an anime dub I talked about in my first anime dubs episode. Somebody on Twitter was cool enough, their name's Be Shonen Knife on Twitter, definitely check them out. They were cool enough to find a VHS tape that had 2 episodes of the Lost Itaden Jump dub on it. And they were even cooler enough to go ahead and put that on archive.org and kind of shout me out in a tweet. So update there have been 2 episodes that are now found. And yeah, update over. And that is it. Let's cut, print, sell it on a record, make a master, do all those things. This is done. This is another one in the books, folks, or my YouTube channel. I don't know what I'm saying, but you have reached the end of the video, and for that I am happy. I am genuinely happy you like listening to me talk about this stuff, and you know, I just reached 10,000 subscribers, and that also makes me immensely happy. It's not a big number, but you know, it makes me so happy. Thank you so much, guys. I love you all. I really do. I'm gonna wrap up this video now, though. I'm exhausted, and I did not script an outro, and you know what? That's fine. I'm just gonna plug video subscribe button and the cards, or no, end slate, that's the word, and end cards, whatever. They're gonna be on the screen. There they are. See, they're beautiful. And yeah, see you guys in the next video. I got Lost Yu-Gi-Oh! Media coming up next, and I love me some Yu-Gi-Oh! So, you know what? Look forward to it. I don't know why I clap, but yeah, see you in the next video. Bye.